Coming up this morning on DITV.
Bernie Sanders made his way through Iowa City this weekend, and I stopped by to get the inside scoop.
We've got coverage and championships from 3 different states coming at you in sports.
More precipitation on the way for weather, but this time it's rain. Find out more.
All that more coming up on this Monday, March 11th edition of DITV.
Don't go anywhere. DITV starts right now.
Good morning, and thank you for tuning in. I'm Noah Gowdy.
And I'm Susanna Closter.
For the first time in 18 years, Iowa women's basketball are Big Ten champs.
And for more on this historic weekend and all the Hawkeye sports, we have Declan Levy in the sports studio. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. We have a lot to get started, so let's get right to it. It was raining confetti and buckets yesterday in Indianapolis when the Iowa women's basketball team won the Big Ten tournament. DITV sports reporter Natalie Accapetti has more from Indiana.
I know I don't have a champion's hat on, but the University of Iowa women's basketball team sure does. After defeating Maryland in the championship round of the 2019 Women's Big Ten tournament here in Indianapolis, what can I say about Iowa? They 100% deserved this win. They played with their heart out the whole entire game. Megan Gustafson with almost 50 points, Tania Davis flying on the ground for balls. Hannah Stewart went into the bench and rolled her ankle, but checked herself back into the game 30 seconds later. That is team devotion to each other. They wanted to win this not only for themselves, but for them as a team.
This is a bond that we'll carry with us the rest of our lives. That they will always be Big Ten champs, and we will always share this journey together. And that's something that nobody can take away from us ever.
No, without a doubt, this was the most important. Every single game is important, but this one meant so much. This is what I wanted coming into Iowa. I wanted a Big Ten championship, and I just couldn't be more proud of how our team played, and it's a dream come true, that's for sure.
And we never let up, we never got frustrated, we never lost confidence within ourselves, and I think that's very huge. That speaks to our trust and our love for each other.
But reporting from inside Baker's Life Fieldhouse, this has been Natalie Accapetti with DITV Sports.
Now from one championship to another, we have DITV sports reporter John Rawson standing by in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where the Big Ten Wrestling Championships were held this weekend. John?
Yeah, thanks. It feels like I just got here and the tournament is already over. Luckily for me, I got to see a championship. That's right, Alex Marinelli was crowned champion at 165 pounds, beating undefeated Vincenzo Joseph of Penn State. And here's what Marinelli and head coach Tom Brands had to say about the win.
It kind of solidifies what I've been working for, and it makes a statement, and that's what I kind of like to do, is make a statement and get my name out there. And hey, like I said, if your name's out there, they know how to spell it, right? A lot of people don't know how to spell a lot of names, but if your name's out there and you're looking them up, then you know how to spell them, right? And so the only way to do that is to win titles. So.
Good. We're 2-0 against that guy, and that's a good wrestler. And we wrestled a high-paced physical match, and we scored a lot of points.
The Hawkeyes will look to use this performance and many other good ones throughout the tournament, and in particular Session 4 when they head to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for NCAAs in less than 2 weeks. But that's all I have for you in Williams Arena. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, John. And moving on to our final state featured in this All Around the Midwest sportscast, the men's basketball team was in Lincoln yesterday to take on Nebraska for their final regular season game of the year. Joe Wieskamp missed this early layup here, but Luka Garza was there for the putback and the priceless reaction. Garza had 25 on the night, and that was the lone bright spot for Iowa. The Hawks gave up 16 points to the Huskers in the final 47 seconds of regulation, and Iowa ended up falling in overtime in this one 93-91.
We didn't execute like we wanted to down the stretch. We had a bad turnover and didn't wall off Palmer a couple times when he drove to the basket. I just think we didn't do what was necessary to hold that lead. And we had 11 turnovers in the second half, and you can't do that when you want to, hold on to a lead, and especially on the road.
We just have to move on and learn what we can. We did a lot of good things tonight. We were up 10 most of the game. Started out the second half really well. But Watson hit some tough shots. Palmer hit some tough shots. It's just one of those nights.
Following this loss and the end of the Big Ten regular season, Iowa is the 6th seed at the Big Ten tournament and will face the winner of either Illinois or Northwestern Thursday night in Chicago. Now, unfortunately, lately we've seen Iowa's offense get cold, but hopefully Iowa City's weather won't follow that trend. So let's toss it over to Dylan Mahalki in the weather studio with what to expect. Dylan?
Thanks, Declan. Yes, it is supposed to get warmer this week in Iowa City. But first, there's a jet stream that's going right up north throughout the Midwest and in the Great Plains region. Now, fortunately for us here in Iowa City, that jet stream will not hit us on Tuesday or Wednesday. Now, as we look into Wednesday's projected forecast here, as you can see, there will be some snow in parts of Denver and Salt Lake, and then also up north by us in Chicago and Minneapolis, we actually get some rain. Now, as we look into the 5-day forecast for the week, or rather today, we have a temperature of 31 degrees and partly cloudy skies. As we move into tonight, our temperature stays relatively the same. We have clear skies and a temperature of 30 degrees. Now, as we move into that 5-day forecast, like I mentioned, as today our high gets up to 40 degrees and we hit a low of 26 right early this morning. We have partly cloudy skies all throughout the day as well. On Tuesday, we have 13-mile-per-hour winds and our high is at 47 and a low of 40 degrees with cloudy skies. Wednesday, as I mentioned, that rain comes. We have a 100% chance of showers all throughout the day, with our high getting up to 59 and a low of 52. So a warm day despite the rain. On Thursday, we have a 60% chance of showers come the night, and our high gets up to 54 degrees and a low in the mid-30s. Finally, on Friday, the rain stopped, but the winds do pick up. We have 21-mile-per-hour winds, with our high getting up to 38 and a low of 27. So fairly cold on Friday. As we can see, we got some rain, some wind, but temperatures are much warmer, so that's a great thing for us here. I'll toss it over to Noah and Susanna at the desk.
Thanks, Dylan. Students and community members from all over the Iowa City area flocked to the Iowa Memorial Union on Friday to listen to Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders speak on his campaign to run for the 2020 presidential election. I was at the rally Friday night to bring you the full story.
Cheers could be heard throughout the night on Friday as Senator Bernie Sanders took to the stage to speak to supporters in the Iowa City area about running for president in the 2020 elections.
I am excited to welcome you to a campaign which will be unprecedented in the history of the United States of America.
Senator Sanders did run back in 2016 but fell short on securing the Democratic nomination. He does feel, though, that with the 2020 elections on the rise, he is better prepared than ever to make a run at the presidency.
This campaign, with your help, is about transforming this country and creating an economy and a government that works for all, not just the 1%. The underlying principles of our government will not be racism, sexism, xenophobia, homophobia, and religious bigotry.
Senator Sanders does have a large following in Iowa after his run back in 2016, and his supporters talked about what they like best about him as a presidential candidate.
He stands for things like reducing income inequality, racial inequality. He stands for environmental justice, and he stands for really a progressive political revolution that I think would revolutionize the way that our country treats all of its people and reduces marginalization.
The rally was at full capacity Friday night, and more than 500 people who showed up were not able to make it into the ballroom. Senator Sanders didn't let that stop him, though, from speaking to everyone as he made his way outside of Hubbard Commons after to speak to everyone who came out to support. Stick with the Daily Iowan as we bring you full coverage of all the candidates that make their way to Iowa City ahead of the 2020 elections.
University of Iowa graduate student Tony Lefebvre can always be found with a trumpet and a smile. Lefebvre, originally from Bettendorf, Iowa, will graduate this May with a Master's of Art and Music Education emphasis. At the UI, she has been a prime figure in bringing more women to jazz. One of the greatest opportunities in her music career has been her own program called Iowa Women's Jazz Orchestra. Lefebvre said This all-female band gives young women a chance to view a role model already in the industry. UI Associate Professor in the College of Education, Mary Cohen, said that she will never forget having Lefebvre in her class, stating, quote, "Students were challenged to come up with something completely new. I'll never forget Tony's. She taught this group how to improvise a song on a B-flat minor scale. When we had that skill set, she used a visual video of whales and the group had to improvise watching the video." Cohen believes Lefebvre's jazz program can draw more women into the music industry.
The first 2 weeks after spring break brings an increase of gastrointestinal-related illnesses to student health and wellness, said nurse manager Constant Wagner. Students tend to get GI illnesses when drinking water in other countries. The water in the U.S. is processed differently than in other countries, meaning students' bodies aren't immune to the bacteria that could be in the water. According to the CDC, 90% of students return with bacterial infections, 5% return with viral infections, and a low percentage return with a parasitic infection. When abroad, Nurse Patricia Wong advises students to drink bottled water and make sure any food that they eat is properly prepared. People should also avoid ice in their drinks since ice does come from the local water supply.
The UI is hoping to help students avoid potential scams on their school email accounts. Email scams, known as phishing emails, are something the university has struggled with every year. These emails disguise themselves as important messages from the UI staff and can be harmful to your computer. On March 5th, University of Iowa ITS made it easier to identify an email is real or fake. Any emails that don't come directly from the UI are labeled as external. Students should be wary of external emails that claim they are from the university, as they are most likely scams. UI Director of Media Relations Ann Bassett wants to remind students that, quote, "The external tag does not mean the message is a scam, but it does provide additional information about the message source. The external tag is a reminder to stay vigilant when handling emails from external sources," end quote.
A study conducted by the university has revealed differences in how men and women seek help for alcohol-related problems. The University of Iowa Assistant Professor in the College of Public Health, Paul Gilbert, led the study here at the university. 2 surveys were conducted between 2001 and 2004, which since have revealed differences in alcohol treatment based on gender. Gilbert stated that women were, quote, "twice as likely as men to say they didn't get help because they thought the problem would get better by itself," end quote. Gilbert and his team have continued the study in hopes of discovering why the differences is occurring. Gilbert also hopes his findings can bring more awareness, stating, quote, "I would hope that it would raise the profile of gender differences. We should be thinking about tailoring whatever our efforts are for women or men in order to increase help," end quote.
The UI student government has endorsed a group with the potential to bring some big changes to the university. Fair Trade at Iowa, a student group formed only last month, is working towards their goal of making the UI a fair trade university. Now, what exactly does that mean? Becoming a fair trade university would mean the UI would take major steps towards sustainability by offering at least 2 fair trade items in every center on campus. A portion of profits from these items would go towards protecting the planet and helping hungry communities. Currently, Loras College is the only fair trade university in Iowa. With backing from UISG, Fair Trade at Iowa has now more leverage with the administration, putting them another step closer to their goal. The group hopes to inform students of their goal and gain more support towards making changes at the U of I.
And thank you for tuning into this Monday morning edition of DITV.
Be sure to head over to dailyiowan.com for all your latest news.
We leave you today with footage of the Iowa women's basketball team being welcomed back into Iowa City last night.
Have a great day and go Hawks!